Well, I just found out I wasn't recording this whole time. That's interesting. Okay, I've got a half an hour of time to sit and ramble on about this, what you're looking at here. I finally jumped aboard the 12428 train and bought one from Amazon, as well as the like $69 all metal upgrades part kit, and have spent the last about 24 hours getting one of those green buggies with this paint scheme looking like it does right now. This is just metallic dark gray, and of course with the blue anodized parts and everything going on just all around. I put these wheels and tires, which are not the stock ones that come with this setup. These are actually off of an ECX Temper 118. As you can see, about the same size compared to what I have on there. This is set up with some Tamiya's and some RC four-wheel drive tires. And so I wasn't sure exactly what I would do with those tires, and lo and behold, it turns out that it is just absolutely perfect for this setup, and I'm very pleased with how it came out. So, what could I say about this from the very beginning? I watched all of the videos that I could on YouTube. A big thank you to all the people that have taken the time to make videos about this thing and talked about all the upgrades, the do's and the don'ts and the tips and the tricks and stuff like that. Those were a huge help in getting me to the point where this is at right now in such a short amount of time. I kind of feel like I ordered the stuff. It all sort of came together yesterday. Stuff showed up on time, very thankfully, and I just went right to work on it. I worked well past midnight getting the suspension built and everything, and then this morning, as soon as the hardware store was open, I ran and bought some new paint in order to be able to do the body panels and stuff. And so anyway, I have been kind of tinkering around with nailing stuff in as much as possible for most of the day today. I've put about, I don't know, roughly close to 6 or 7 hours in on it so far. I started very early this morning on it. So anyway, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I did on the back, or excuse me, the underside, which are going to be a huge help in how this thing runs. Everyone that bought these metal hop-up kits was talking about how these links are no good and how much slop is involved in the mounts and everything. I do not disagree with that in any way, shape, or form. I do believe that the tolerances on these are atrocious. I think that whoever is producing these really would want to, at some point in time, get together with the manufacturer of this and maybe take a look at building these a little bit better so you don't have to do what I did, which is run to my hardware store this morning, and not only did I buy paint, but I bought washers in various sizes for like M3 and M4 hardware and take up all that slop that's sitting here. So now you can see that there's no real slop involved anymore. You just have essentially what's left behind for movement. There's a little bit of side-to-side play, but that is nothing that I'm at all concerned about. Things turned out pretty well in the back end. It definitely took a lot of the slop out. It seems to work much more smoothly now. I was also pretty impressed with the kit that I got. I did not know that it was going to come with the rear shock tower mounts, and it does. And that was the first thing that I switched out before I did anything. And I couldn't believe that just switching those out alone, like what that ended up doing. And then I swapped out these, the I-beams in the back, and then I did the torsion control arms here. And those, once I did all of those mods and got this kind of dialed in a little bit, I was totally sold on the whole concept of just, going for everything and doing this up front. Sorry, I just whacked the camera mic with the big tire there. Anyway. And I wasn't going to do this until sometime today, but I decided to keep on going, and I worked well past midnight to get it rebuilt. Also, I wanted to point out, I use, let's grab a new screwdriver here. These are from, actually a snare drum. And so those washers are thick enough to take up just enough space on the top side of those in order to be able to kind of take some of the up and down slop. Maybe their slop is intentional, but it's kind of annoying to like get something built and have it just, you know, be so sloppy, and you do have to take the time to get it totally dialed in. Once you take all that necessary painstaking time to get everything, you know, totally working exactly how you want it, you'll end up being perfectly happy with how this thing functions, and that I am. I really am very pleased right now with the overall. This just feels just nice and pillowy, jello-y soft, you know. It just feels like it's just going to absorb everything outside. It happens to be raining, and I do want to now next talk about my initial runs with this last night. This is take 2 on this video, and I didn't realize that it wasn't recording before. Let me double check. Yes, it is still recording now. I took this outside and started running it for about 10 minutes or so, and was being pretty daring with it, taking it through some puddles that had just freshly rained yesterday. And I thought that this would be okay, that, you know, much like most rock crawlers out there, they're water resistant and can take splashing through a couple puddles here and there. Not so much with this thing. 10 minutes into running it, and after going through some puddles, it shut right down. The lights began to flicker really quickly, and it would respond to no commands whatsoever. And so at that point, I kind of figured, oh, great, I just ruined my toy. I won't even be able to get to mod this thing up this weekend. So much for doing a video, blah, 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 blah. I brought it back inside, dried it off, dried all the immediate water off, and tried to blow out as much as I could. The ESC and the radio combo sits inside of a little container, a little compartment, but I couldn't really get that thing to split and pop open so I could really dry things out. So I just tried to blow as much water out of that as I could. And then I put the whole car in front of a fan with the top off for about, I don't know, maybe a half an hour or so. And at that point, I turned it on and it came back on. I was pretty psyched about that, so what I did was I took it outside and ran it again. And then, unfortunately, because it was, you know, it was running well, and I decided to just, you know, start running things at full speed, I accidentally went through another puddle. It shut down again for a second time. So, once again, thought that I had totally ruined my whole new toy, and brought it back inside and repeated the process one more time. And very thankfully, it's back up and running again. So, word to the wise or unwise, however you care to say it, these things fresh out of the box without having done any waterproofing to the electronics at all, whether it came from the servo or whether it got to the radio, the ESC, it doesn't matter. These things do not like water. They're not even water resistant in any way. I experienced problems with going through puddles that weren't even, you know, as deep as, you know, the rims on these, and really not much water was splashed up inside of this thing. It was all exterior. It seemed to be fairly dry for the most part on the inside. Even inside of the hood area, it was still dry. So it just simply just doesn't like moisture of any kind. Something happened. And so, at any rate, I haven't had a chance to put too much time on it today. I've only run it indoors, just kind of testing things out after I've gotten it built back up, and sort of just testing the suspension, going over a couple things, and I really like it a lot. I can tell already that this thing is going to be incredibly fun to run. It was fun last night, just ripping through the grass and stuff, but it's not going to go back outside until it is totally dry, and we're looking at dust and stuff like that. These things, like I said, I'll say it again, do not like water, and so it is going to be very dry before this thing sees any outside time again, at which point I will put it through the paces. I'm going to see just how well it jumps and does all the stuff that I've seen people doing with these online. The color of this thing and everything else, let me talk about that very quickly. This, of course, was this black and green paint scheme. And I decided to go to the hardware store this morning, and along with purchasing washers, I purchased some metallic gray spray paint and gave it a different color. And I kind of like this a lot. And the reason why I did this was because, I kid you not, as soon as I ordered this, I had just pressed click, said, place order, and I decided by mistake to go to Banggood and because I haven't been ordering them, I kind of stopped purchasing them from them a few months ago after a problem that I ran into with an order and a refund. And I decided I was done with them. Got my money, yes, but I just got the hardest time in the process of getting it back, and so I just decided I was done with them for a while. At any rate, I go to the website as soon as I place the order for this thing, and I see that they have one that comes with metal body plates all around, in like a gray and a red, two different colors of it, and it comes with every single hop-up part, and it sells for, I think they have 3 different models of it that are at a price pointed at like about $130, $170, and then one's about $210. $210 is pretty much how this thing sits with everything on it, minus, I believe, the suspension, the front suspension support. I think that's the one thing that this lacks. And as well, I think they also install the power steering, or the steering rack, which is one of the hop-ups I've chosen not to install just based upon what a lot of people said it ended up not doing for the steering, and what it ended up doing was causing a bunch of problems. So I've stayed stock on that whole thing. I have enough experience with WPL and MN series upgrades with all of their rod ends and stuff like that over the course of the last year and a half that I felt pretty confident with my decision to go ahead and just use everything on this front end for the upgrade. And I think that's because I now am really happy with how that functions. It's very robotic-like, and I think it's got great amount of motion. It's quiet enough, it doesn't rattle. I've taken all the slop out with a couple washers in all the right places. It seems to be exactly what I was hoping that it would be, and like I said, I just can't wait to get this thing out and run it. It's just going to be so fun compared to just knowing how fun it was last night running it around. Now that it's completely done up, I really can't wait to see what happens with it. So electronics wise, I know a lot of you guys have upgraded the ESC and the servo in these and gone with a different transmitter. That is definitely on the agenda for this thing in the future. What else can I say about it? If there's any other upgrades that exist, I may end up trying to find some. If there's a rear axle housing replacement, I'm not sure. Metal gears, this hang has plastic gears in it, and I'm going to run them until they strip, at which point I will need to finally upgrade. We have drive shafts for just the rear, so if I do run into any problems with this thing finally breaking or whatever, I have a replacement or 2 replacements for that. I don't have replacements for the front axle, drive shafts, CV shafts, however you want to say it. That all said, I really like this thing a lot. It's a cheap RC. You're looking at, I think this was $212, $13 or something like that to the door. I used the tires off a crawler that was sitting around to replace these incredibly hard, I would consider them totally unusable tires, especially for what this thing is. And so anyway, yeah, you're looking at a total of about 10 to 12 hours of upgrade time, $210 parts included, all sitting here. Worth the time, 100%, absolutely, totally worth it. Is it going to hold up? I think so now at this point. It should hold up for a while. I don't really beat my stuff too much. And so, I hope that this certainly gets through those initial stages of even just getting used to how this thing performs and runs with it all modified. So, am I ever going to go back to any factory part? Geez, I don't know. I don't really see the need. I think now that I've got this, fully modified up front, what I'll end up doing is putting a nicer servo in. I'll upgrade the electronics as well as the transmitter and just go with it from there. I really like this look. I like the function. I like the durability involved in all of this being metal and not plastic. So I'll definitely keep an eye out on how these stay in place I did do Loctite with them, and I also backspun all of the packing nuts against the eye bolts or the eye ends. So, like I said, I've got experience setting up M-ends and WPLs with these. Sorry about the mowing the yard. That happens next door, but anyway, that's just real talk right there. I'm very happy with how this turned out, and like I said, I cannot wait to run it and see how it's going to perform. Battery life, I've noticed so far, is amazing. It's fantastic. You get, I don't even know, 20 to 30 minutes out of each charge. So charge time, I think I noticed it was about 5 to 6 hours, pretty much covered the ground. What else? The axle extensions, I have not had any problems with, knock on wood. I put those on last night and ran it around, and it seemed A-okay. I didn't notice any loosening of the ends of those. I did not put Loctite on them. I might if I do have any problems. What else can I say about this thing? Lights all worked just fine. Tires were just such a good fit, so much nicer and softer, really grippy and grabby. They did kind of fold a little bit in turns, which caused a couple of rollovers at certain points, but that's really just me learning how to drive this thing. And it takes rollovers really quickly and really well. As you can see, there's a couple of scrapes and scuffs up on the roll bar up here, but that's exactly what those components are for. That's exactly probably why I'll keep this tire on the back, just simply for those mishaps that put it rubber side up. What else could I talk about if there's anything underneath here? It really sums it up. I went through and oiled all of the connection points here, everything that you see. So as you can see, I mean, that's got a bunch of rebound. That is just absolute great function. So I'd say this side actually works a little bit smoother than what this side does. I'll have to take a look at that and see why. At any rate, I'm very pleased. Very happy with my decision to go ahead and buy one of these. Very happy with my decision to go ahead and modify one. Folks, my 319 subscribers, 320 subscribers I think I'm at right now. Thank you all so very much. It has been awesome. Just watching this thing grow to what it is. I never thought I would break even 100 subscribers, and here I am, like I said, at 319, 320. That's just incredible. WL Toys, the 12428. You will be seeing some more of this. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great 4th of July weekend out there. And we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully have some running videos for you soon.